I took a school where there are about 27 teachers, and the administrator there's one administrator, and he or she is trying to do a couple a day. And so I drew to scale here. Look at Monday, okay? There are too many observations. Those are drawn to scale. That's a total of 20 minutes in a day of more than 6 hours. Then on Tuesday, they fit it in 3. Wednesday, 2. Thursday, 3, Friday, 2. So far the time's looking pretty manageable, right? You can do a lot of other things. So now I've added the conversations. The red bars are the 10-minute conversations. And again, look at the bottom there to see the total number of minutes for each day taken with the conversation and the mini observations. And then here I've added in green, I've added in the write-ups. And notice when the write-ups are being done, either early morning on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or late afternoon or evening on the other days. And we're fitting them into the day, but we're not taking away contact time. So in terms of time, I think this is absolutely doable. You can fit these into the nooks and crannies. And then I believe that actually the structure of many observations makes this easier, not easy, but easier than the traditional method. So here are the 5 design elements that I think make this a pathway to improvement and also something that's doable. First of all, when you're in a classroom and you see daily reality, you're really motivated to do something if you see something that your own children shouldn't experience in a school. So it motivates you, okay? The second thing is when you're taking one leverage point at a time from each visit, it makes it much less difficult to have a difficult conversation, rather than giving a comprehensive thing. So one thing at a time. Third, the teacher is going to be less defensive if it's one thing at a time, and if it's an informal face-to-face conversation in their classroom. That makes it much more doable. Fourth, these conversations allow teachers to upgrade the skills of the administrator, to improve their understanding of what they're doing, their pedagogy, and so forth. So it's a two-way street that's going on there. So that's improving the administrator's skill. And finally, the administrator has multiple at-bats. So even if you handle one not so well, or if you miss the point, or if it doesn't come across that strongly, you're going to have 9 more of these at-bats. So I think these are the things that I think make many observations doable, even for people, perhaps a young administrator who's not very experienced, or someone who hasn't done this at all. I think this is doable. So here's a 1-slide summary. So again, to see daily reality, I think the visits need to be unannounced. They need to be short because they're surprisingly informative. To get a fair sampling, they need to be frequent. I'm advocating 10 per teacher per year. After each visit, focusing on 1 or 2 leverage points. And again, enhancing that with face-to-face conversations, looking at unit plans, looking for evidence of student learning all the time, looking over kids' shoulders in conversations, getting student input. We didn't have time to get into that, but I think kids see a lot and they're there all the time. I think the goal is to appreciate, coach, and get the overall picture of a teacher's work and tell them about that all the time, culminating in wise, thoughtful, and accurate rubric evaluations at the end. So here's my checklist. You can let you read that on your own there. To do this well.
And Kim, one more thing that one of our participants added is the virtue of these mini observations is that teachers get timely feedback, whereas in traditional ones, they might be getting feedback in May and June about something they did in October.
Oh, yeah. So again, this next day service or same day service, terrifically important. And again, one thing at a time, but frequently.